Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining the IR Update. Today with us, we have Dane Stevens, CEO of Optimi Health. Thank you for joining us today, Dane.
Thank you for having me. Nice to meet you guys.
You too. So, for those hearing about Optimi for the first time, how would you describe what the company does? And what makes your GMP manufacturing of psilocybin and MDMA unique in the global psychedelic medicine landscape?
Great question. I think the simplest way I could describe Optimi Health is what we're doing is truly unique in that something that most companies are still talking about. We're actually manufacturing both our MDMA and psilocybin products. We're a company that has actually gotten both of those drugs into clinics, into a regulated market in Australia. And both of those products are actually being prescribed by physicians throughout Australia, as well as having those drugs being validated through clinical trials around the world. So what we do, we took a regulatory approach where we were able to actually manufacture the drugs ourselves and ship them directly from our facility to a pharmacy down in Australia. And it's pretty exciting the fact that we have two drugs in patient in clinic today.
Perfect. Well, this year you launched both natural psilocybin and MDMA capsules in Australia through the authorized prescriber scheme. So, what enabled Optimi to bring two regulated psychedelic treatments to market so quickly?
It sounds fast, but it's really been, it's over 6 years, but in this industry, as I'm sure you're aware, in biotech, all of our competitors, if not all the psychedelic listed companies on the Nasdaq and the NYSE are all still in clinical trial development. We took a different approach. We decided to manufacture the drugs directly ourselves and work with the TGA, which is the FDA equivalent in Australia. Canada and Australia have what's called a mutual recognition agreement, where the drugs that we make in Canada, we're just based outside of Vancouver, are recognized to be prescribed for indications, specifically PTSD for our MDMA product and treatment-resistant depression for the psilocybin. But over that time, it took quite a while to get the licensing and build the facilities and get everything ready with respect to the manufacturing of the drugs themselves. Not just one time, but on scale in order to fulfill the orders. And so far, we've shipped over 5,000 doses. It's taken a lot of work. We've got a great team as well, but it comes with what's called in Canada a drug establishment license, and that's the license from Health Canada that we worked really hard to achieve. It comes with a pretty intensive audit from Health Canada to get us to that point. And with that license, we're able to manufacture, package, sell, export to clinics, in Australia and clinical trial sites around the world, as I mentioned before.
Excellent. Well, Australia now provides insurance reimbursement for MDMA and psilocybin assisted therapy through both private and public channels. So that's approves MDMA and psilocybin capsules to be covered within psychotherapy programs. With out of pocket costs reduced or eliminated, what does insurance access mean for patient uptake and optimize commercial trajectory?
Yeah, it's huge to see both sides of the environment. Reimbursing those products is it's amazing for us on the optimized side. We're not looking at if and when we get the ability to start treating patients. We're looking at how many and how fast. And so this is a huge catalyst for the industry as a whole, and we're lucky to be a part of it. And to have insurance reimbursement coming in around the healthcare space, specifically around these drugs. It's a huge inflection point for us in the industry, and from a commercial standpoint, we feel significantly de-risked at that point. We're in market, as I was saying before, but it also means a lot the fact that if you're a veteran, like the DVA's office, Department of Veteran Affairs in Australia, is able to reimburse patients and have our drug be a part of that. It's a huge milestone for the company.
And talking about milestones, you just filed for an F1 for a proposed uplisting to a Nasdaq. Why is now the right time for Optimi to move to a senior exchange?
Sure. I mean, access to the U.S. capital markets has always been part of our plan. We are listed on the OTC now, but over the last year, we worked with our counsel and our underwriters to put together a F1 registration statement. But specifically talking about the U.S. market, the depth of the capital, the access to biotech, that there's a lot of expertise around the investor base that I think it's exciting to try and tap into that. And I think NASDAQ investors specifically understand pharmaceutical drug manufacturing. They understand regulatory pathways. They understand healthcare reimbursement, insurance reimbursement. And I think they're going to understand that so far they really start to understand the long-term value that we're creating as a company, who's actually treating patients right now, versus a longer term clinical trial play where you're at phase one, phase two, phase three, and it can take significantly longer than we've proven out. So, we've reached a stage where our company profile, I think, aligns better with the U.S. investor, and the uplisting does match the business milestones. It's an exciting time, and we'll have more to share coming into 2026 about that.
And about next year, looking ahead, what key
Yeah.
milestone should investors and partners watch as you scale production, expand your international distribution, and gather real-world patient data from Australia?
Sure. So I think in 2026, the patients were, projecting a significant increase in volume of patients that are, accessing both of our MDMA and psilocybin finished drug products. But I think you'll also see a meaningful increase of authorized prescribers. So those are the physicians in Australia that are allowed to actually prescribe the medicine to the patients that qualify. And so for us, we're looking at this year as a big year to scale up and just in our distribution strategy. At the same time, looking at other markets as well. Like there's some similar programs that are being discussed to come online that we'd love to supply. And I think when we start to look at the data, that's a huge part of it. So coming into 2026 and beyond, that's hopefully going to be the largest and most significant psychedelic data set in the world. Thousands and thousands of patients will be using our medicine, and then a lot of that is going to be understood from a patient level specifically. And we hear from actually patients that we got an email yesterday where there's not directly from the patient, but the patient has been speaking with obviously their physician, and they're saying about just the significant improvement. So it's about as real as it gets when we look at the data, and having the real world evidence behind the product is something that we're really proud of, but also we're seeing it on the everyday, on the patient side every day. So yeah.
Excellent. So, lots of things to look forward to. That's great having you here today with us, and looking forward to hearing more and more from Optimi Health. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Really nice to meet you. Thank you.
You too.